Hello, my lovely students, and welcome to ChetChat. This is the class that you have been asking for. So many messages. Yes, conjunctions. The ultimate masterclass on conjunctions is right here today. So, what are we going to cover today? 51 conjunctions, secret hacks, pro tips, common mistakes that even the pros make, and all that information is in tables, so you can pause the video and take a screenshot. Let's face it, after watching every YouTube video and attending every tuition class, you are still wondering, what is the real difference between when and while, between or and whether, and what about whether or? Confused, right? I have done a lot of work to prepare for this class because nowhere else, literally no YouTube video, no classroom will ever give you these important but those little differences between conjunctions that you're going to get in this one-stop masterclass. And this is going to help you crack any exam very easily. So let's get going. Okay, so what are conjunctions? You already know this. Conjunctions are connecting words. They join words, they join phrases, clauses, or even sentences. So a conjunction is like a bridge. It connects two lands. This could be two words, it could be two phrases, it could be two clauses, it could be two sentences. Today, we're going to take up the most common 51 conjunctions. They are grouped as per their function, and I have not seen any other teacher do this, okay? The reason this is very important is that this is the only logical way and literally the only way that you will understand and remember them without memorizing them. Let's get on with it. The first category of conjunctions are the conjunctions expressing time relationships. What do we mean by time relationships? It means some actions are happening in a sequence. First one thing happens, then another thing happens, then another thing happens. And when we need to join these events, of course it's a conjunction, so we need to join, okay? Then we need certain words. These words are going to tell us which event came first, which one is coming later, etc. Now, I have a table right here. 8 conjunctions that express time relationships. They are before, after that, when, while, as soon as, till, and until. Okay, first let's take a look at my morning routine. 6:30 a.m. I wake up. 6:45 I brush my teeth. 6:50 I start getting ready. I usually finish getting ready by about 7 o'clock. Okay. Today at 6:55 a.m. the phone rang. Then at 7:15 I reached my place and I started my morning walk. And I ended it at 8 a.m. I was listening to a podcast all through my walk. Cool. Now let's connect these different events in a sequence. I brush my teeth before I get ready for my morning walk. The phone rang before I started my walk this morning. I got ready after I brush my teeth every day. And after I got ready, I went for a morning walk. This is simple. Before and after, you already know that, okay? What about after that? After that tells us what happens next in sequence of events. I got ready. After that, I went for a walk. First I got ready, then I went for a walk, okay? Here's the difference. After that is used to start a new sentence or an independent clause. Take a look at the difference between these two sentences. I got ready for a walk after I brushed my teeth. Or I brushed my teeth. After that, I got ready for a walk. And notice that sneaky semicolon in the sentence. Whenever there's after that, you use the semicolon. Basically, after and after that, both words have similar usage in terms of their time relationship. The difference is only this semicolon which comes in and the sequence changes. After that is also like this transition phase. I brushed my teeth. After that, I got ready for a walk. Okay, next one is when. When indicates a specific point in time or a specific condition. I was getting ready when the phone rang. The phone rang at the specific moment, at the exact time that I was getting ready. Sometimes the phone rings at just the wrong time, doesn't it? Okay. The key point here is that when is versatile. It can be used for a single event. It can be used for repeated situations, like when it rains, the roads get slippery, which means every time it rains, the roads get slippery. Repeated situation. Okay, one pro tip here. When is always followed by a clause that describes the time or the condition, like when it rains, when the phone rang. Okay, so when you get this in your exam, you will know that it is when, because it's going to be followed by that time clause. Okay, good. Now the next conjunction is while. While indicates that two actions or events are happening at the same time. I listen to an audio book while I walk. So both the actions, walking and listening, are happening parallel, okay, like at the same time. I love listening to my audiobook, by the way, while walking. What about you? And you need to tell me your morning routine. What do you do in the morning? Okay, now, while I was walking, it was drizzling. What does it mean? The action of walking and drizzling happened simultaneously. See the difference. When is more specific, like it is about a specific occurrence. When it rains, when I was walking, the phone rang. While is about two activities going on in parallel. All the while I was walking, she kept talking. Oh my God. It is very disturbing to walk with someone who keeps on talking, isn't it? Okay, you've got that. Now let's go to the next conjunction, which is as soon as. As soon as means immediately after something else. As soon as I woke up, I brushed my teeth. Event B happens immediately after event A. As soon as I started getting ready, the phone rang. This is different from after. After could be later also, like an hour later. As soon as has like immediately after. Great. Now the next two conjunctions are till and until. They both have the same meaning. They are both used to indicate the end of a time period. Till is informal and often kind of used in spoken English. Until is more formal than till. P.S. Until has a single L. I didn't brush my teeth till 6:45 a.m. Till the end of 6:45 a.m. I listened to the audiobook until I finished my walk at 8 p.m. The action of listening to the audiobook continued up to the end of the walk. Usage tip. They're both followed by a clause or a specific time. Now here is the summary of the 8 conjunctions of time on your screen. Take a screenshot. It gives you those little differences which will help you a lot when that examiner gives you questions and tries to confuse you. Okay, before we move on to the next category of conjunctions, it is shout out time. And this week I want to give a shout out to one of our sweetest viewers, Lakshmi. Lakshmi, your message is so special. Lakshmi says that our channel changed her life and transformed her from a regular student into a topper. And she got the strength to stand up against her friends who were cheating because she feels that she has the power of ChetChat with her. God bless you. And more power to you, Lakshmi. And if you too want a shout out in my next video, write a little comment, a little story about your journey, send it to me, and don't forget to add the hashtag ChetChatters. Now let's move on to the next type of conjunctions or the next category of conjunctions, which are conjunctions of addition or emphasis. Can you guess which ones these are? Okay. Now these conjunctions add information or they emphasize related ideas. There are 4 that we are talking about, and as well as, not only but also, and both plus and. Okay, so there's two conjunctions and two pairs of conjunctions. First, let's look at and. And adds information, or it connects similar idea. You already know about and. And is used to connect words, phrases, clauses, sentences. There's no special emphasis on any of the items. I like mango and ice cream. Who doesn't like mangoes with ice cream? Okay, this is very important. When we use and, the verb that we use is always plural. Ajay and Seema are both hungry. And this is a very common conjunction, but there is a common mistake with this. Look at this sentence and tell me what is wrong with it. I woke up and I brushed my teeth and I got ready and I went for a walk. This is repetitive and awkward. So the correct sentence should be I woke up, comma, brushed my teeth, comma, got ready and went for a walk. When we are adding a lot of different things, we use and only in the last case, okay, if lots of different nouns or clauses are getting added. Next, let's talk about as well as. As well as also adds information. It's similar to and, but the emphasis is a little more on the first item. I like mangoes as well as ice cream, which means I like both of them, but there's a slight emphasis on mangoes, and that is my favorite fruit. Do you love mangoes too? Leave me a comment below. He is talented as well as hardworking. Now he's both. He's talented and hardworking, but the emphasis is more on talent. The key point here is as well as is it's used to add the information, but the point is it's subtly emphasizing on the first item. And there's a pro tip here that I want to give you. When we use as well as, the verb is decided by the first noun. Ajay as well as Seema is hungry. Since Ajay is singular, we use the singular verb is hungry. So this is the difference between and as well as. In and, you're using a plural verb because you're adding equal items. In as well as, the main thing is the first one, so you're adding a singular verb. Okay. Next, we have not only but also. This is a conjunction pair. It emphasizes two related ideas. And the thing is, there's a sense of surprise or importance. Like, my pet Simbi is not only a great cuddler, but also a professional sock thief. It emphasizes both cuddler and sock thief, but there's a surprise element that she is stealing socks. Yes, I also get surprised that this little innocent little doggo can be so naughty. Not only did he finish the project on time, but he also exceeded expectations. Emphasizes both the finishing on time and exceeding expectations, but there's an additional sense of surprise with exceeding expectations. Pro tip, the verb used here is singular. Since we are trying to say not one or the other. Not only Ajay but Seema is also hungry. Now this becomes an important difference between and, as well as, also, not only but also. So if you get a sentence where both the choices are there and you have to then start looking at the verb. Is it singular? Use as well as, or maybe not only but also. But if it's plural, then you have to use and. Okay, next we have that conjunction pair both and. This pair emphasizes two related ideas equally without implying surprise. My cat is both lazy and playful. Remember, and also did this, emphasizing both of them equally. For me, both reading and writing are equally enjoyable. Emphasizes both activities equally. Okay, here's a tip. Both and is very similar to and so the verb that we are going to use is plural. Both Ajay and Seema are hungry. Okay, here's a table of comparison between the four conjunctions of addition and emphasis. Pause the video, take a screenshot. And now we've completed 12 conjunctions, and I'm sure you're finding this very easy. But if you have questions, I want you to put them down as a comment below. I try to answer most of the comments on my own. So I'll try to give you your answer as well. Now, let's look at the third category of conjunctions, which are conjunctions of cause and reason. There are 5 conjunctions of cause and reason, which are because, since, for, as, and in as much as. These are used to explain the reason, the cause behind why is something happening, because okay? They help connect ideas logically and express, your reason comes out very clearly. On the surface, you may think that they all mean the same thing. And most teachers will tell you that, they're all because, since, as, is the same thing. Let's look at the examples. I got a 0 because my dog tore up my homework. I got a 0 since my dog tore up my homework. I got a 0 for my dog tore up my homework. As my dog tore up my homework. I got a 0 in as much as my dog tore up my homework. I got a 0. Okay? So there's a difference now. The difference between them is their formality and the position that they take in the sentence. Let's put them on a scale of neutral to very formal. Now, if I look at because and as, they are kind of neutral. Since is slightly formal, for is formal, and in as much as is very formal. Okay, there's a table on the screen. Pause the video, take a screenshot, and look at the subtle differences. If you look at because and for, they're usually not used at the beginning of the sentence, and you would put them somewhere in the middle. Since, for, and as can be in the beginning or the middle. In as much as is usually used in the beginning of sentences. So everything here is on the table. Pause it, take a screenshot, and trust me, very few grammar classes will give you this level of detail. Like, we are talking about the meaning and the formality and the place and that little differences. Most of the grammar classes actually just leave you confused and you're wondering what is the real difference between these words. So make sure you're taking notes, make sure you're taking screenshots along the way. And now let's dive deeper into the conjunction as. As. The word as actually has 3 different meanings when used as a conjunction. It is also used as a preposition and as an adverb, but today in this chapter we are only going to look at the 3 uses of as a conjunction. The first meaning of as is to give reason, like we've said, similar to because. We've already seen that. It's very similar to since and for and because, and it indicates cause and reason. As it was raining, we decided to stay indoors. He couldn't attend the meeting as he was feeling unwell. Cool. The second meaning of as is to indicate time or simultaneity. What does it mean? Simultaneously, 2 things are happening at the same time. She smiled as she read the letter. As I was walking to the store, I saw an old friend. Okay. The third meaning is to indicate manner, in a way that, okay, you describe how something is done or how something happens. Do as I say, not as I do. She sings as if she were a professional. Okay, now here's a table on your screen. I've put down these 3 uses of as, and you can pause it, you can take a screenshot. Okay, I hope this is very easy for you to understand. But now let's take a look at some exclusions. Look at these 2 sentences. Because it was raining, so we stayed indoors. Because it was raining, we stayed indoors. Which one is correct? Now these 5 conjunctions, because, since, as, for, and in as much, they should never be used with so, therefore, and thus. Why? Because these words also introduce results, and it sort of becomes like a duplication if we use 2 of them together. So it would be wrong to say, because it was raining, so we stayed indoors. Now you could choose the second one would be the correct sentence. You would say, because it was raining, we stayed indoors. Or you can say this another way, which is, it was raining, so we stayed indoors. Okay? But because and so cannot be used together. Similarly, if you look at these 2 sentences, since she was tired, therefore she went to bed early. Since she was tired, she went to bed early. Once again, the second one is correct. We could also say this as she was tired, therefore she went to bed early. Either this or that, but we cannot use since and therefore together. Now, what do the words so, therefore and thus do as conjunctions? Actually, we have not discussed that, okay? So let's take them up next. And our next category of conjunctions are conjunctions expressing purpose or result. The previous one was reason, now this one is the result. These conjunctions describe if action is happening, what is the result of the action, okay? What we were doing before, that was the cause, because, since, why is it happening? But now that it's happened, what next? These next 5 conjunctions that we are taking up, which are so, so that, thus, therefore, in order that. Now, they indicate an action is happening and then what is the effect of that? Let's take a look at so. So indicates result or consequences. Jack wanted to impress Lily, so he bought the most expensive perfume. Cause is wanted to impress, so the result is bought the most expensive perfume. It's informal, it's used in everyday conversations. Example, she was tired, so she went to bed early. The cause is tiredness, so, and the result went to bed early. So usually comes in the middle of a sentence, and also both the linked clauses are independent. Jack wanted to impress Lily, he bought the most expensive perfume. Both these sentences can stand on their own and they make perfect sense. Okay, now let's compare it with so that. So was talking about result. So that is used to express purpose or intention. I will explain this to you. So that explains why something is done in the first place. He wore a stylish outfit so that Lily would notice him. The action is wore a stylish outfit. So that, and the purpose, why did he wear the stylish? So that Lily would notice him. Usually the first clause has the action and the second clause is the goal or the reason. He left early so that he wouldn't miss the train. The action, so that, purpose. Okay. The next conjunction is therefore. Therefore indicates a logical conclusion or result and is quite formal. Lily was delayed, therefore Jack had to wait. Statement, therefore conclusion. The project was completed on time, therefore the team celebrated. Action, therefore, and the final outcome. One small grammar observation. We place either, when you're using therefore, you put either a semicolon or a period before therefore. You remember in the previous conjunction we learned also where I told you that there is a word, a transition word that where you put a semicolon before it. And if you remember that, tell me in the comment section below. Now let's look at our next word, which is thus. Thus also indicates a result or conclusion. It has the same meaning as so, but it's more formal. The cafe manager smelled the strong scent, thus he asked Jack to leave. Statement, thus outcome. She saved money every month, thus she was able to buy a car. The result of saving money was being able to buy a car. And our next one is in order that. This also shows purpose and it's more formal than so that. Jack left the cafe in order that he could get some fresh air and try again. Action, in order that, intended outcome. He worked hard in order that his family could live comfortably. The purpose of working hard was so that the family could live comfortably. Now, did you notice that for some conjunctions we said they show result? Now, for some other conjunctions I am saying that they show purpose. What is the difference between result and purpose? Is it just words? Okay, look at these two sentences and tell me which one is correct. She saved money so she could buy a car. She saved money so that she could buy a car. The first sentence is wrong. So is used for result. And the result of saving money is that she had more money. The result is not to buy a car. The purpose was to buy a car. So you would say in the second sentence, when you use so that, it clarifies the purpose of saving money. Okay, so now without getting confused, I'm going to put everything in the form of a table. Pause, take a screenshot, and we are moving on to the fifth category of conjunctions, which are conjunctions for alternatives, choices, or possibilities. Now there are 6 conjunctions that can present you with alternatives, choices, or possibilities, which is nor, or, either or, neither nor, whether, and whether or. Okay, let's take them up together and see their differences. Let's look at or. Or is simple. It gives you a simple alternative. Would you like a cat or a dragon as a pet? Just for fun. Who would say no to a dragon? You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself becoming the villain. Dark Knight presents you with 2 options. Or connects 2 or more options, often with a comma. Now, unless the options are very long or complex, you would simply connect them with a comma. Would you like pizza, burger, Thai food, or pasta? When multiple alternatives are present, or is used for the last one. Remember, we said that for and also. Or is the most basic conjunction for presenting alternatives. Let's look at nor. Nor is used to add a negative alternative. You already know that. And it's paired with neither or not. I don't like broccoli, nor do I like cauliflower. Both broccoli and cauliflower are disliked. She has never been to Paris, nor has she been to London. Both Paris and London? No. It connects 2 negative ideas. And the pro tip here is that the verb after nor is inverted. See the magic. Example, we would say, nor does he, nor has he, or has she. Instead of he does or she has. The verb is inverted. Now this is a clue in your exam. The next time you get these conjunctions and you see the inverted verb, you will have a good idea that this could be a nor. Okay, the next 2 conjunctions are either or and neither nor. Either or gives you 2 alternatives. You can either clean your room or explain to mom why it's still messy. The ultimate tough choice. Neither nor negates both alternatives. Neither the dog nor the cat wants to admit that they ate the last slice of pizza. Pets are the ultimate pizza thieves. Pro tip, when we use either or and neither nor, it is understood that there are 2 alternatives only. Remember, with or we said there could be multiple alternatives. Now, since we are talking about one or the other, the verb with either or and neither nor will either be singular or it will match the nearest subject. What do I mean? Either the cat or the dog is in the garden. Both cat and dog are singular, so the verb is singular. Neither the cat nor the dogs are in the garden. The dogs is plural and it's closer to the verb, so the verb are is plural. Now, I have a detailed masterclass on subject-verb concord. It covers this entirely. I'm going to drop a link below and you can get to this. But right now, let's talk about conjunctions, and the next conjunction is whether. Whether introduces a choice or an alternative. It can give you a possibility. It can even give you a doubt. I wonder whether the dog wants to go outside in the rain. I'm unsure if it wants to go out. I have a doubt. Now note the spelling of weather as opposed to weather, which is the mausam. Okay. Whether you like it or not, we have to do it. The alternatives are you like it or you don't. But the use of the word whether adds a subtle meaning of regardless of your preference, we have to do it. The key point here is whether introduces an uncertainty or it introduces an alternative. Okay. The next one is whether or. Whether or gives you a choice or doubt between 2 possibilities. It's used to connect 2 options or possibilities. Just like either or, neither nor were about two choices. In the same way, whether or connects two possibilities. Whether you like pineapple on the pizza or not, it is still a controversial topic. Pineapple on pizza, the ultimate debate. By the way, do you like pineapple on your pizza? Whether you agree or disagree, the decision is final. The decision is final regardless. You agree, you don't agree, doesn't matter. Okay, here's the summary table. It has the uses of all the 6 conjunctions of alternatives or possibility. Basically, or is about a simple choice. Either or is a choice between two options. Nor is about a negative alternative, and neither nor is about a negative choice between two options. Whether gives you a choice or a doubt, and whether or brings you a choice between two possibilities. Now, we've done 28 conjunctions already, and we are moving to our next category, which is conditional conjunctions. And there are 10 conditional conjunctions, which are if, even if, and if, as long as, so long as, unless, provided that, on condition that, given that, and in case. Okay, the first one is the simplest one, if. If is one of the most versatile and frequently used conjunctions in English language. It has 4 main uses. One is if shows a condition that must be met for some other event or action to occur. If you eat all your veggies, you might turn into a superhero, because Palak and Popeye, right? Veggies and superpower, right? If it rains, we will cancel the picnic. The condition is if it rains, and the result is we will cancel the picnic. It also introduces an uncertainty, puts a doubt that it might rain. Okay? 2. If is also used to talk about hypothetical or unreal situations. If I were rich, I would travel the world. This is a hypothetical situation. I'm not actually rich. If I were a boy.
If I were a boy, even just for a day.
This is hypothetical and an unreal condition. Beyonce is not a boy. If I were a rich man. This is a song, and note that what are we doing? We are saying if I were and not if I was. 3. If is used for polite requests. You can kind of make a polite request or a suggestion if you want to make it more polite. 3 reels are pending. If you could complete them soon, please. This is what I am always saying to my editors. 4. You use if for expressing regret. Let's say you want to express a regret about some past action. If only I had listened to your advice, I wouldn't be in this mess. The speaker is regretting not listening. If only you had watched my grammar videos, you could have aced your exam. Okay, as a 5th, if is also used in conditionals, and we have a very detailed class on conditionals. I'll share the link to our complete class below. And for now, here's a table summarizing the 4 uses of if. Now let's talk about some common mistakes with if. Look at these 2 sentences and tell me which one of these is correct. If I will go, I will call you. If I go, I will call you. The first one is wrong. If and will are not used together in the conditional clause. Look at these 2 sentences and tell me which one is correct. If you study hard, if you will pass. If you study hard, you will pass. The first one is wrong because we are overusing the if twice in the sentence and it becomes incorrect. Okay, can you tell me what is the difference between if and whether? It's a common source of confusion. If or whether. Now look at this. I don't know if or whether she will come. Which word is correct? If or whether? Tell me. Well, both if and whether can be used here, but whether is more formal. How about these 2 sentences? I don't know if I should go or stay. I don't know whether I should go or stay. Which one is correct? The second one, whether is used to present alternatives, and when you use whether or, we are choosing between two conditions, two possibilities. So when there's a single condition, you use if. Remember, we did whether or sometime back, and we said if there are two alternatives, then instead of saying if this or that, it is better to say whether this or that. Okay, some quick fill in the blanks to check how we are doing. Try these sentences. I doubt he will pass. I doubt he will pass or not. Sentence 1, both are correct. Sentence 2, we need to use whether. Okay, the next conjunction is unless. Unless introduces a negative condition. It essentially means if not. Unless you want to be chased by a squirrel army, don't steal their nuts. Meaning, if you don't want to be chased by squirrels, don't steal their nuts. If not. You can't enter the club unless you are 18 or older, which means if you are not 18 or older, you cannot enter the club. Look at these three sentences. Unless you don't study, you will fail. If you don't study, you will fail. Unless you study, you will fail. Okay, the first one is wrong because it creates a double negative. Unless already means if not. So when you're using unless, you don't say unless you will not study. No, unless you study. Or if you don't study. So either way you want to put the if not. Either you say if not or you say unless. And the next conditional conjunction is as long as. As long as is similar to if, but it also implies a sense of duration or continuity. Example, you can stay up late as long as you promise not to turn into a zombie tomorrow. Zombie is the ultimate consequence of sleep deprivation. Usage. Now, it is often used in the middle of sentences to connect a condition and a result. You can stay up late, condition, as long as result. You promise not to turn into a zombie tomorrow. I'll stay with you as long as you need me. Now this one shows duration. Pro tip. Unless, remember the word unless, it was for a negative condition. And as long as is for a positive condition. So see these two sentences. You can go out as long as you finish your homework. This is a positive condition. You can't go out unless you finish your homework. Negative condition. Okay, the next one is so long as. So long as is similar to as long as. Both are used to introduce a condition, and often it has a sense of time and duration. So long as I live, I'll remember this lesson. It shows duration and a sense of time. You can also say, as long as I live, I will remember this lesson. I hope you also remember this masterclass. The next one is even if. Even if introduces a hypothetical condition. It is unlikely, it is contrary to expectations, and it also shows that nothing is going to change no matter what happens. Look at this. Even if it rains, we will go to the park. Now, rain is a hypothetical condition. It may or may not happen. But the speaker is determined to go to the park regardless of the rain. Even if you bribe the cat with tuna, it still won't let you use the laptop. Okay, cats are the ultimate laptop guardians, right? Bribing the cat is a hypothetical situation. But in the end, nothing will change. She will not let you use that laptop. The next one, provided that. Provided that specifies a formal condition. You can borrow my car, provided that you drive carefully. It's similar to if. As long as and so long as, they're all sort of similar, but it's more formal. You can enter, provided that you have a ticket. The condition for entering is having a ticket. I'll lend you the money, provided that you pay it back by next month. The condition for lending money is paying it back by next month. Condition, let's talk about on condition that. It also gives you a formal condition. It's similar to provided that. You can join the secret club on condition that you wear a pineapple on your head. You know, some clubs have very strange rules. Are you a part of any such funny club, by the way? A similar one is given that, which is similar to on condition that and provided that. It introduces a formal condition. Given that the cat is the boss, we must obey its every command. Okay, and the next one is and if. And adds something and if is conditional. So and if adds an additional condition to a statement. I will help you for now, and if you need anything else, just let me know. It adds an extra condition to the conversation. Okay, I hope everything is clear to you. And if you have any doubts, then you know what to do. Leave me a question below. Next, we are talking about in case. In case indicates a precaution or a possibility. Take an umbrella in case it rains. Now here's a table. I've put these 10 conditional clauses on it, and we've got the differences between them. Now before we move on to the next category, which is conjunctions of contrast, let me show you two other conjunctions. Okay, they are completely different in meaning, but they look and sound similar. As long as far as soon as. Okay, as long as is a condition usually with a duration. You can stay as long as you are quiet. Similar to if with a duration, you can stay if you are quiet. As soon as has time and immediate action, like I'll call you as soon as I arrive, the moment I arrive. As far as is the extent of or scope of. As far as I'm concerned, mango is the best fruit. As far as I know, the meeting is tomorrow. Now let's move on to the next category of conjunctions, and these are conjunctions of contrast. Okay, the conjunctions of contrast are up here on your screen. Yet, but, however, still, whereas, although, even though, though, although plus yet, and nevertheless. These 10 conjunctions are fairly similar. So, let's first separate them into formal and neutral. Okay, here's a table on your screen, and we've divided them into formal and neutral. Now, primarily, you would use these conjunctions for contrast, and the differences between them are very subtle. But in this class, you're going to get all the differences in as much specific detail as possible. But I want to say something to you, and this is true for the entire chapter of conjunctions. Although, actually this is true for all of grammar. There's only one way to understand all of these words in their perfect sense, and that is by reading. So please do try to read at least for 15 minutes every day, and it will make a huge difference to your language and grammar overall. Okay? The first conjunction of contrast is yet. Yet is used to introduce a sort of contrast or an unexpected result. It often implies that something surprising or contradictory has happened despite whatever you were expecting. It is similar in meaning to but, okay? She studied hard, yet she didn't clear the exam. Despite studying hard, she failed, which was unexpected. Pro tip, it's commonly used in the middle of the sentence to connect two clauses. Often there's a comma before it. He is very talented, yet he doesn't believe in himself. There's a contrast between being talented and lack of confidence. And there's also that surprise thing that, he's so talented. Why does he not have confidence? The next one is but. But also shows contrast. I tried to bake a cake, but it turned into a pancake. I have had my cakes turn into pancakes and wells, and also sometimes flow right out of the tin. Have you ever had a baking disaster? Another example with but. She is smart, but she lacks confidence. There's a contrast between being smart and lacking confidence. Pro tip, but is similar to yet, but there's less surprise and the contrast is also less. The word but also has another meaning, which means exclusion, but here it's used as a preposition and not as a conjunction. I like everyone but him. He is quite annoying. Now, I wanted to go, but I didn't have time. So this is but this one is a preposition. Let's talk about the next conjunction, which is still. Still is, again, it's similar in meaning, it's showing contrast, but it's more casual in usage. She worked hard, still she didn't clear the exam. Still is used to show that something is true despite a contrasting fact. Okay. Next we have however and nevertheless, which are both similar to yet and but, in that they are also talking about contrast or unexpected results. However is formal. Nevertheless is formal and advanced. I tried to teach my dog to fetch, however, he only fetches snacks for himself. She is talented, nevertheless, she doesn't believe in herself. Next up, let's look at whereas. Whereas indicates contrast between two different ideas and is formal. She's smart, whereas he is more creative. My dog loves to play fetch, whereas my cat prefers to watch and judge. Whereas is formal and it's used to highlight differences between two ideas. Now let's put all of this into a table. I know it's seeming confusing to you right now, but once you see all of this in the form of a table, you pause the video, you take the screenshot, you're going to see that while broadly they all meet the they all mean the same thing, there are those little differences between them, and this is what you need to actually ace the exam, those subtle differences between conjunctions. And now we're going to see three conjunctions that sound similar: although, even though, though. These three words all mean despite the fact that, and they're used to show contrast. Although it was raining, we went hiking. She gets very good grades even though she doesn't study much. I love tiramisu. I don't eat it often though. Now there are some subtle differences which can be seen, and I'm going to put them all in the form of a table. Though is informal, even though can be neutral, and although tends to be more formal. Now even though is more emphatic than the other two. When you make the sentence, you'll see there's a lot of emphasis on even though. Now we can end a sentence with though, but we can't end it with although or even though. Okay, let's look at although or though with yet. One very important thing, and this is why examiners will confuse you, we always use although and though with yet as a paired conjunction. Example, although he studied hard, yet he didn't pass the test. There's a sense of contradiction and contrast. There's also that unexpected result. Be careful that you're never going to use but as a pair with these words. Although it might sound correct to you, yet your examiner will mark it wrong. Although, even though and though are either followed by a comma or yet, but they are never followed by but. Look at this sentence. Although it was raining, comma, we went for a walk. We can also avoid the use of yet and use a comma, okay? So remember that the comma is doing nothing, it is replacing the yet. Although she was tired, she continued working is formal. She continued working, she was tired though. This is informal. Okay, we've done 48 conjunctions so far, and I'm going to take 3 more in this class, and if there are any other conjunctions that you want me to cover, let me know and we're going to take that up in another class. 49 is lest and should. Lest is a conjunction that means to prevent something undesirable from happening, or for fear that. Lest and should, that's the pairing. It indicates possibility or precaution. Speak softly lest you should wake up the baby. Lest can also be used without should. Walk quietly lest you wake up the dog. Now look at these two sentences and tell me which one is wrong. He wore a mask lest he would catch the virus. He wore a mask lest he should catch the virus. The lest is either used by itself or with should. It cannot be used with any other conjunction. Okay, once again, which of these two sentences is wrong? She hurried up lest she will be late. She hurried up lest she be late. Like I said, lest cannot be used with will, would or any other conjunction except should, and lest is not used with not because it already contains a negative meaning to prevent something bad from happening. Speak softly lest you should not wake up the baby. Speak softly lest you should wake up the baby. Now the second one is correct. The next two conjunctions are 50, as though, and 51, as if. As though and as if both have similar meanings and are used to describe a situation that seems true but is not necessarily real. It often implies that the situation is hypothetical or imagined. She looked as though she had seen a ghost. She looked scared that she hadn't actually seen a ghost. Do you believe in ghosts? Comment and tell me. He acted as if he knew everything. He acted confidently, but he didn't actually know everything. So annoying, right? Okay. These are similar in meaning. As though is a little more formal and it's kind of used more in written English, and as if would be used more in spoken English. So there it is, 51 conjunctions. And I hope this helps you. Share this with someone who might need it and see you in the next lesson. Happy learning.